Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Hey.
Well, I mean, we maybe need to have a bit of distance between us. Not us.
Yeah. It's not really an attitude.
Yeah, well, I'm with Simon Elliott from the Big Table church plant in South Perth, and he also runs the Big Table BT Run Club. I've just started running, and the first fear I had was what I think many people have as a fear. You go down to a run club and everyone knows what they're doing. They know the language of running, and they're probably been doing it for a while, so they're pretty good, and you feel a bit scared. But immediately I noticed that everyone's very accepting, and the level you were at was okay, and everyone would just allow you to find your own pace and join the group. When it comes to the Big Table as a church, I often think that that must be what you want to do for church as well. If you took the word run out and put the word spiritual in, that same feeling of someone new coming is what you want to achieve at Big Table. Is that true?
Yeah. I wish it was as easy at the Big Table as it is with Run Club. But we started the Run Club, and it still is the kind of little byline with it, a community for runners of all abilities. And you can say that and you can read it, but until you actually turn up, you won't get the sense of the prevailing culture, which is whether you ran 3K a day, or you walked and ran a K, or you ran 30-something. You're actually a kindred spirit with someone who has been out running today, and for us, the definition of a runner is someone who runs. So the definition of a follower of Jesus is someone who follows Jesus. It's nothing miraculous. And so our heart, I think, at the Big Table, just as I trust it is spilling over to Run Club, is to foster this culture where people are eager to grow in their relationship with Jesus, because they've got people alongside them cheering them on in that journey, and they're doing that journey with other people. And I think the walk with Jesus, just like running, is so much easier in a group, as a team, within a community, than it is going solo.
Yeah, that's right. And have you found that there's a good crossover between people who are interested in exploring life, maybe Christianly, but also people who start to run? I remember you saying once that people run for all sorts of reasons, and one of them is they want to change something in life. Have you noticed that there's an openness among people? Yeah,
well, both an openness, and if you grab... Runners are innately interesting people, which I think just is demonstrating that we all are. But I think there is an openness to a bunch of things as a result of this journey of running together and kind of allowing yourself to have someone speak wisdom in that area of running. And I don't think that means that the gates are flung open from a spiritual and emotional point of view, because some people have really strong walls and you can sense that something's open and then it gets shut very quickly. But there is... Conversations happen after Run Club, just as they do around the Big Table, as a result of people being together. We just had breakfast together, and you grab 5 followers of Jesus and 5 people who haven't encountered the gospel yet. It won't be too long before something starts to have the aroma of Christ about it, and I think that's my hope. I find what we do at Run Club in many ways thoroughly unremarkable. What's remarkable is what the Holy Spirit does when there's that atmosphere where He can work.
Yeah, I noticed that Jill and I came down to dinner with Elsie Wellings the other week, and there were a bunch of Christians there and a bunch of non-Christians there, and it was easy the way you opened with prayer, and that just everyone could have conversations where you felt like the Christians here are probably thinking, let's have some intentional conversations as well. You're building up intentionality in every aspect of life. So Big Table isn't just about one event. It's about bleeding into everything in life.
Exactly. I mean, one of my little idioms is that 90% is turning up. And I think all too often we want to have the big moment where we do the deal and sign the deal and then send people on their way. And that's not actually how Jesus ministered when He was on earth. He hung out with people. He was intentional about spending big chunks of time with people, and maybe there are times when I'm too timid, but my hunch is always this day, Tuesday, doesn't need to be the day, because I get to turn up on Thursday and Saturday and every other day, and conversations will happen, and sometimes in really surprising ways. And I get to, because I coach a number of runners as well, people get injured and sometimes the world falls apart for them, and you get a whole lot of opportunities to speak about where is your hope and where is meaning now, in a way that I think I would never have got to speak with people ordinarily. So being consistent and intentional in turning up, even when it appears that not much is happening, sometimes that's just sowing the seeds of credibility, and that you're not inviting me over here so you can nail me with your God stuff. You seem to actually genuinely love me, and that's my greater hope.
So I guess it's that long-term, low-key relational aspect of ministry.
And yet informed by this continuing prayer for me of, God, I know you're doing stuff. I know you're at work. You're always at work. So allow me to have a really sensitive radar to those moments where I can speak your truth. And sometimes I'm lousy at that. Sometimes there's an opportunity and a door's busted open and you get to have some really golden conversations. And the other thing is, don't think it's all about what Simon does. There's a whole bunch of people, both from the big table and who love Jesus, who come here, and it's an opportunity for all of us. And for me, it's a missional environment, and it's missional not because here's a run club that equals missional, but we've decided that this can be a missional environment, and therefore there are opportunities.
Now you and Fiona have about 100 to 150 people through your house on any given week. How do you keep going at that pace? And what is it a highlight? What are the highs and lows of doing church this way and life in a very open community sense?
I think the highlights are that flow of people. It's having that ongoing relationship, and I find that I can not see someone for 3 or 4 days, and it feels as though it's been a long, long time. And there's a couple of girls I saw at the big table on Saturday who would normally be the big table on Sunday, who would normally be at Run Club through the week, and they're just not there they're injured. And I said, it just seems so long since I've seen you. Now, typically, that would be the regularity with which you would see another follower of Christ, if that was the model that you're in. So the upside is that richness of relationship. I think in terms of the downside, we have a rhythm that within a week is sustainable, but keep on joining up week after week after week, and it is draining. So we need to be, one of our things that we're working towards cultivating is crafting a Sabbath for ourselves, and we know that it's important. I have a full-time job as well, and so it's trickier than it might be for some, but we're committed to crafting it. Monday looks like our day at some point.
Good. So what could we people who are watching this pray for the big table, both in its church setting and its run club setting?
I just think that continued gospel intentionality, that God has been working through His Holy Spirit some amazing opportunities for us, and our thing at the big table is it needn't be running. Discover what your thing is, and then add a missional impulse to what you're doing. And if your thing is chess, well, you can do chess with a missional impulse. One-on-one relational gear for 2 hours is probably more than most people experience in a month or a year. So finding what your thing is and adding a missional impulse to it, and if you're praying for us, pray that we continue to awaken that missional impulse within us by the power of the Holy Spirit.
Great. Thank you so much, Simon.
No worries.
We'll be out there hitting the roads again, and
Cheers.
we really appreciate your time.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks.
Cheers.